All right, let's get into it. Today, we are going on a journey. It's a journey that starts with something super familiar, the news on your screen, but it's going to end somewhere totally different. We're talking about a hidden reality that's all around us, but completely unseen. What if the biggest stories out there are the ones we literally can't perceive?
Okay, so this quote from Robert McNeil is the perfect place to start. It's a great reminder that how we get our information really shapes our world. But here's the kicker. What if that TV screen, that phone screen, what if it's just the first filter of many more?
So in this first part, we're going to dig into how the format of our information, the actual tech we use to get it, has a massive influence on what we even think of as being real.
I mean, just look at the PBS NewsHour. It started out as this super focused, long-form coverage of one thing, Watergate. Fast forward 50 years, and it's not just a TV show anymore. It's a digital powerhouse on YouTube. The medium itself is totally transformed just as much as the news stories have.
And this just nails what the media guru Marshall McLuhan was talking about when he said, the medium is the message. See, it's not just about the content, the stories about politics or whatever. It's the technology delivering it that really matters. Think about it. Going from having to watch a specific show at a specific time to having an endless feed on YouTube, that completely changes our relationship with reality. You just have to wonder what McLuhan would make of the world we're living in today.
So this idea of a filter, this is the crucial turning point for us. Because if a simple television screen can filter and shape our reality, then what about the filters that we are all born with, Our own senses, our eyes, our ears? Could they be the most powerful gatekeepers of them all? Okay, so let's really dive into that idea, this idea of an invisible world that exists just on the other side of what our senses can pick up.
The neuroscientist David Eagleman has this perfect way of explaining it. He says, imagine you're a dog. Your world is this unbelievable symphony of smells. You can tell who's been in a room, where they went. You can smell a cat hiding a block away. From a dog's point of view, our human sense of smell is just pathetic. We're living in two totally different realities, right next to each other.
And there's a word for this. It's called the Umwelt. It's basically the little sensory bubble that every single species lives inside. What we call reality is just one tiny slice of the full objective reality that's actually out there. We're all just walking around totally clueless about all the stuff we're missing. So this begs a huge question, right? Are we just stuck in our little sensory bubble forever? Or, in this incredible age of technology, can we actually hack our own biology and break out?
Well, the answer seems to be a huge, resounding yes. There's this process called sensory substitution, and it's all about feeding new streams of information to the brain. So for example, there's a vest that's covered in these tiny little motors. It can capture sound and translate it into these complex patterns of vibrations on your torso. And after just a little while, a deaf person's brain actually learns to interpret those vibrations, and they start to feel the spoken word. It's unbelievable.
And we don't have to stop there. We could add entirely new senses. I mean, imagine feeling the stock market's ups and downs as a direct perception, or experiencing the collective mood of social media as like a feeling in your gut. We can literally turn abstract data into a direct human experience. We can expand our own Umwelt.
But, this whole idea of an unseen world isn't just some techie thought experiment. It's actually a concept that modern physics puts right at the very heart of reality itself.
We usually think of matter as this solid, stuff. But physicists like David Bohm, they described it in a much stranger way. They called it frozen light. The idea is that the energy from light gets kind of trapped, vibrating so incredibly fast in one spot that it appears to us as a solid particle. So matter isn't really a thing, it's a process.
And the universe is just flooded with things that are totally real but pass right through our senses. Okay, get this. Neutrinos. They're real particles, they have mass, and right now, this very second, about 10 billion of them from the sun are streaming through your thumbnail. Every single second, and you don't feel a thing. They're a fundamental part of reality, but to our Umwelt, they might as well be ghosts. Now, if we want to go into some more speculative territory, some thinkers have pushed these boundaries way farther. There's this controversial theory from biologist Rupert Sheldrake called morphic resonance. He basically suggests that memory might not even be stored in our brains, but that it exists as this kind of memory in nature itself, an invisible field that shapes everything by resonating with the past. Now, it's a really provocative idea for sure, and it lives on the very edge of what we call mainstream science.
So, okay, we've got the media, our own biology, and even physics all pointing towards these unseen realities. But what if evidence of this stuff has been recorded before, and we just didn't know how to see it? Let's look at this really fascinating historical mystery that kind of messes with our assumptions about what's been going on in our own skies.
So set the scene. The year is 1952. The space race hasn't even kicked off. Sputnik, the very first artificial satellite, is still 5 years away. There should be absolutely nothing made by humans orbiting the Earth. Period.
But here's where it gets wild. Scientists recently went back and analyzed these old astronomical survey plates from that exact era, and they found thousands of unexplained flashes of light. Look at this example right here. A plate taken at 9:45 p.m. shows a totally empty patch of sky. Then, just 20 minutes later, a new photo shows this distinct cluster of lights that just appeared out of nowhere.
The researchers who studied these transients, as they called them, noted some really strange things. They acted like flat, reflective objects in a stable orbit, which is not what natural stuff does. And here's the really weird part. The study found a statistically significant link between when these lights appeared and two things: nuclear weapons tests on Earth and major UFO sightings, like that famous 1952 event right over Washington, D.C.
So, when you put it all together, what does it all come down to? It's this one simple, kind of mind-blowing idea. From the news on our screens to the very limits of our own senses, our reality is filtered. But as we build new technologies and develop new ways of thinking, basically, as we build new senses, we're starting to peel back those layers. And what we're finding is a universe and maybe even a history that is far, far stranger than we ever imagined. So the ultimate question has to be, what else has been out there this whole time, just hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to finally learn how to see?